Hello, 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 and welcome to Thrive After 45, the podcast where we redefine the significance of you time because you, for you, by you. I am Denise Drinkwalter, a Midlife Renewal Coach, here to help women embrace their power, purpose, and potential. This show is your space to explore what's possible when you prioritize you. Through inspiring conversations, expert insights, and real stories, we'll uncover how to navigate transitions, rediscover joy, and thrive inside and out. It is time to let go of guilt and fully embrace the life waiting for you. This is the Thrive After 45 podcast, and it is your time to thrive for you, by you, because of you. It is an honor and a privilege to introduce and welcome Sherrika Sanders to Thrive After 45 podcast, episode 2 today. Sherrika is a powerhouse in the world of accounting and leadership, with over 15 years of experience guiding accounting teams through high-stakes corporate transitions, including mergers, acquisitions, IPOs, and financial restructures. Despite climbing the corporate ladder, she knows firsthand the challenges of unrealistic deadlines, limited resources, and the heavy weight of expectations. Challenges that often leave women feeling stuck and unfulfilled. Now, as the CEO and founder of Transform the Gap, Sherrika is on a mission to be the mentor that she once needed. She is dedicated to helping women of color in accounting embrace their God-given purpose, overcome self-doubt, and create balance between faith, family, and career. Through her work, she has already impacted more than 10 lives, guiding them toward transformation and lasting fulfillment. And today, we get to dive into her journey, her wisdom, and her passion for helping women break barriers and unlock their true potential. Sherrika, welcome to Thrive After 45. So great to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Denise. I am delighted and honored to be on your second episode.
It is a privilege. And let's jump right in and let's talk a little bit about how this came to pass. How did you come to the realization that not only your story, but you could be of service to others? Tell us around what comes up for you when I ask that question.
Oh my gosh.
It's a big one.
So many things, because honestly, when I was in corporate, if anyone had asked me, and they did before, people say, why don't you start your own like side hustle, or you can do accounting books, you could do all these different things. And I'm like, no, corporate employee, W-2 till I die. Like, there are people who are not meant to be entrepreneurs. This is my space. This is my safe space, because the security and knowing when you'll get paid, and you know what's coming in, you know where you're going each day and what that day looks like. But it got to a point where it was no longer fulfilling. And I thought initially that it was maybe the organization that I worked with, because it had become a toxic environment. And I'm like, I just need to go somewhere else. And so that's exactly what I did. And I got to the new company and people were great, had a great team, great manager and support there, but it still was just like something's off. And what I realized, a part of my journey that I loved the most, was my team and helping them and helping them to develop and helping them to get on the right path, whether it was inside or outside of accounting, being that support system for them, the things that they needed. And so I'm very spiritual. I went on a fast and I'm like, Lord, I need for you to like, what is it I'm supposed to do? I didn't think it was entrepreneurship, but I didn't know what it was. I thought he would just, show me this divine corporate organization and that would be and say,
Right,
you go
right.
here. And so,
Yes.
but it wasn't. It was entrepreneurship. And it was during that time. I have never been so just engulfed by all things entrepreneurship and business coaches and all of these things. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, no, it's Sherrika. It's remember, but
Yeah.
this was the path. And I realized that I went through the things that I went through during my time in corporate America, being burned out of initially not knowing how to speak up for myself, overworked, under-recognized, having to choose or feeling like I had to choose between my success and my family. All of those
Mm.
things was so that I could make my misery my message and help someone else who's in that space right now.
You talk about family, and I know so many women who are feeling like you maybe felt at some degree. We all have our
Mhm.
own journey, but
Right.
feeling that like, yeah, this is like you mentioned, this is the play check. This is the piece that it's coming in consistently. I know what it is. I do it well.
Mhm.
Hate it. And family is starting to be impacted because of my energy and being
Yes.
drained. And
Yes.
so moving, I'm going to say parallel,
Mhm.
because you went from one corporation to another.
Mhm.
How long did it take you to go, there's this, I'm seeing and feeling the same stuff? Was it a shorter journey or than the first journey, or what happened there?
Have you ever heard the term people say that they hire quickly and fire and take too long to fire? That's kind of how
Yep.
it was with my journey. Like there were signs here and there for a very long time, probably a few years, and I ignored them as something else. Overworked. Oh no, this just it's par for the course. That's what it means when you want to go up and when you want that promotion. So I gave myself all of these different excuses to
Sure.
why it made sense. And honestly, my shift, like many people's for various reasons, was during COVID. And during COVID, we were home and working from home. And it was a few things. One, hearing my family say that, oh, this is the most that we've seen you in a long time. And it was like,
Mm,
oh, really? And then just I guess not being in the place surrounded so much by
yep.
the individuals that I worked with, specifically
Right.
upper management. I would hear some of the things that they would say to people and it just hit different. And I would
Yep.
be like, wait, that's not what why are you and some of the expectations that they had on some versus others for
Mm,
working at home. And it was just like I remember going through an interview with someone who looked like me. She was very professional in her interview.
yeah.
She answered all of our questions. And when we interviewed her, they were like, not really sure if she's going to be a great fit. On the other hand, we interviewed someone who was a white male who showed up. I don't know if you've seen the commercials with the V-neck t-shirt but that's what he had on in the interview.
Yeah.
And he was like barely able to answer the questions. And after the call, they basically almost offered him the position on the call. And I'm like, wait, what? What are we doing? And it's just little things like that that
Of
started to
course.
I felt like my eyes were being open to. And so, yeah, it did take a while. And when I left to go somewhere else, I thought, oh, it's not me, it's them. And I just need to get out of this space. But
Right.
it was a lot of those same things that were still happening. Now, granted, a lot of it came into play because throughout my entire 15 plus year career, I worked for private equity and privately held companies. And so, one thing about them is that they're always going through transition. The bottom line is first and foremost employee value, employee wellness is fairly low on the totem pole. And
Mhm.
so, it was like, are you yourself? Do you support your team? Do you
Mm.
speak up for your team, or do you just make sure you do what you need to do for you? Which, and I couldn't. That's just not
Right.
who I am at heart. So
Right.
yeah, it did take a while though,
Yep.
probably longer than it should have, but it did.
You know, the interesting part is you're sharing your story. I believe this with all my heart that the journey that we take has already been laid out. And if we need the nuggets to get a deeper lesson, the nuggets are there. So
Hmm.
I would say the
Yes.
reason why you're doing what you're doing now is because of the amount of time for you to actually see the errors
Hmm.
in the way.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so tell us more about Transform the Gap.
Thank you.
What is
So
that?
for any in the
Yeah.
accounting, any of the accounting and finance space, know that GAP, GAAP, is it's a well-known term. It means generally accepted accounting principles. And I wanted something that spoke to transformation, but also to my background in accounting. However, for my business, GAAP, GAP is goals aligned, achieving purpose. And ultimately, I help professional women of color who are still in that corporate space, who are still struggling with burnout, who are still struggling to figure out why they have to choose success, or feeling like they have to choose success over family,
Mm,
or their respect over their fear, over their faith, excuse me. So
yeah.
helping them to understand how to speak up for themselves, advocate for themselves, know that it's okay because you're in the room, because you're supposed to be in the room. It's not a mistake. You earned it. Nobody gave you anything, because a lot of organizations will say, oh, we gave you this promotion, we gave you this increase. But oftentimes we know that before we get any of that, we've already been doing the work for an extended period of time. And now they're just trying to level up. Sometimes not as enough, most times not enough to make that salary meet those demands. And so, really, just helping that person that I learned how to grow from. And I know it's still there. I still see it. And really just helping women to align their faith, their family, and their careers for ultimate legacy building success.
How does somebody access your brilliance?
I love the way you phrased that. It's a couple of different ways. So I'm on LinkedIn. Actually, I am hosting an event, a free event, a webinar on LinkedIn on April 2nd from 1 p.m. Eastern to 2:30 p.m. Eastern. And it's about your faith versus your fear, and bold steps in moving forward, showing you how to move forward in spite of fear and taking hold of your faith. And so I would love, it's a free webinar. So for those listening, I would love to have them join in. But so LinkedIn, of course, and also my website, Transform the Gap, GAP.com. But I work with women in small group settings, intimate settings. It's our safe space. It's
Mhm.
our judgment-free zone. Where we can talk through things, where we can pray together, where we can talk about our faith, where we can talk about our frustrations, where we can really let go, but also learn how to step above that, how to
Mhm.
overcome. And so
Yeah.
that when those challenges come, because they will always come, we're already guarded and well equipped to deal with those, and not feeling like we're being knocked back 10 steps every time we take two.
Yeah. I love that. I love how you're setting it up in such a way that you're sharing on the LinkedIn. So if you can make sure I get that, I'll put that in the show notes as well so people can make
Thank
sure
you.
they can jump in there. That would be great. And I love how you do small group, because I find safety and
Yes.
non-judgment is
Yes.
really imperative. And I love what you're saying as well, where you share it, but you also prove that that doesn't have to be where
Mm-hmm.
you stay. Here are some
Mm-hmm.
things that we can do collectively and individually to move the needle for you, by
Yes.
you, because of you, right? Yeah,
Yes. I
love
love it.
that. So tell me, why Sherrika versus somebody else?
Well, I hope that people who hear or who see this episode hear or see, whichever medium,
Yeah.
my heart. This is my passion. This is my purpose, but this was also my pain at some point. And I learned how to overcome it. And so, Sherrika, why Sherrika? Because Sherrika has been there. Sherrika can help you understand, and Sherrika understands what it's like when you're trying to speak up for yourself. You're feeling like you're being mistreated, but you don't know what to say, or you don't know how to say it, or you're feeling like you're being overlooked and you want to raise your hand, but there's this sense of fear and intimidation, or when you're the only one in that room that looks like you. I have been there, done that. And honestly, understanding, because a lot of people say, well, this is how you do it, and forever you'll be free. We're going to consistently struggle with various things because, as they say, new levels, new devils. But as you are prepared and prepped to reach those new levels, it makes it so much easier, and those mountains become molehills. And so I make it my purpose to walk with you. So not only show you, but also walk with you, be that support system, be that ear that you need, but also that guidance that you need to mentor you through the next phases of life.
So beautiful. So beautiful. Sherrika, what an honor and a privilege it has been to share this space with you. Really, I can't imagine what you have gone through in order to do what you are doing now, but I know it was meant to be the way it has unfolded. And
Mhm.
I am ever grateful for our connection and for the wonderful, wonderful work you are doing for women of color to make sure that they position themselves in their lives in all aspects,
Yes.
not just the workplace. Although
Yes.
that's extremely important, it's not the only piece. And faith and
Yes.
family also have to be number one. So, how do we put everything number one and put ourselves at the center of all of that without adding the
Mhm.
extra stress and strain, right? So, so
Mhm.
fantastic. Oh, such a
Mhm.
gift. I am so honored to share this time and space. Is there anything in particular you would love to share with the audience as a little closing? You don't have to, but is there any nugget that you were thinking, oh, we didn't touch on this and didn't touch on that? Which I'm sure there's lots of nuggets, but
I, I will say this, because yes, I do work with women of color, but the webinar is for women. Uh,
beautiful.
I help women. So I don't want anyone to feel left out. If what I'm saying
Oh,
resonates with you and you feel like I'm speaking with you, but you're like, I don't, I'm not a woman of color. And so I'm not sure that, let's have a conversation. I
nice.
have, if you can book a free call on my site, let's have a conversation, let's see where we can align. Or if it's just, hey, I really am struggling with this one thing, well, let's talk through it. There's
Sure.
no obligation to, like buy or work with me or anything like that. But I don't want anyone
Nice.
to feel like this is me, but I can't work with her.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that. That's a great clarification. Really beautiful. LinkedIn, April 2nd. I can't remember. Was it 1 or 1:30?
1 p.m.
1 p.m. Okay. And that's
Yes.
Eastern? Okay.
Eastern Standard Time. Yes.
Okay. Okay. We have time zones everywhere. It's like, oh no, what time zone are we? So that's perfect. Brilliant.
Mhm.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you once again for being on episode 2, season 3, episode 2 of Thrive After 45. Privilege and pleasure. Maybe in the near future we can have you back and we can dig in a little further and do a little bit of a deeper dive. But for
Absolutely.
today, it has really been an honor and a privilege to share space and conversation with you today. So thank you again for all you do. And for those of you who have not yet subscribed to our podcast stream, we are found on all the podcast platforms. Apple, Spotify, and I don't know, there are so many brilliant ones out there, but we are out there, and of course on YouTube. And today we did a live stream into LinkedIn. So you never know where we're going to pop in and meet and greet. But I want you to have a wonderful day, and make sure that if you watch the episode today, give us a review and give us some comments. We would love to hear from you. Take care, everyone, and keep thriving. Bye.